What if we could learn from outstanding leaders in business, sports, and education from some of the best voices in corporate America? Lighting the Path is a series of interviews with industry leaders whose stories highlight strategies that build purpose-driven cultures, engage and retain top talent, develop drivers that create high-performance teams, and connect people to the vision of your company. Join us to hear from game-changing, talented leaders whose paths make a difference at work and at home.
In today's world, which is controlled by digital media, to be able to stand out in that type of marketplace takes a lot of talent. And today's guest is somebody who excels at it. Scott Grates is a TEDx speaker, a published author. His book, Referrals Done Right, hit the USA Today bestseller list. As he was sharing with me, it even had a brief moment where he got in front of Stephen King, which, by God, that's a mark right there. But the other part that why I was anxious to visit with you, Scott, was because of your background comes from being somebody who's excelled in the competitive field of the insurance industry, and I can't think of a more competitive marketplace to do business in. And you've built an amazing brand for yourself. And that's why I wanted to welcome to Strategies for Tomorrow's Leaders, for us to talk about how do you stand out? What do you do along those lines to really be able to position yourself as a market leader and somebody who is a sought after professional in the services industry. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you recognizing the competitive landscape of the insurance industry, especially the PNC, right? Personal lines, home and auto brand. Everywhere you're looking, everywhere that you are, you're constantly being inundated by companies, my own included, telling you could be doing better, you should be doing better. Progressive had a spot on Wheel of Fortune. I watch bowl games and all states there on the net when they're kicking, field goals and extra points. And it's just everywhere you look. So how do you stand out? And really it goes back to Seth Godin, the marketing guru, when he talks about becoming the purple cow, right? In the world of black and white and brown cows, the people will stop and notice the purple one. And this is also to reference another book out of the gate, the blue ocean strategy, that everyone's doing business the same way in the red ocean. How do you do it in the blue ocean so that you really have no competition? And really I put a lot of time and thought into that. How can we be different? How can we be better? How can we consistently deliver a unique and memorable customer experience that make people stop and go, wow, I'm glad I do business with them, or wow, I can't, I'm excited to do business with them and tell my friends and family about them. And really after many trials and errors, what it boiled down to is what was, once considered old is really new again, or maybe it never went away. We just kind of tried to shortcut the system, but you can't. It is relationships. It is human to human, eyeball to eyeball. When the unexpected happens, when you have concerns or questions and everything's confusing and scary in your world, Mike has a guy he can call, and it's me, right? Yeah. And I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be local. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to be available. I'm going to be knowledgeable, right? So really we start with being of tremendous value. We work to create this unique and memorable customer experience. And then we work to consistently deliver on that. And the one word problem that I solve for those that I work with is inconsistency. I think everyone knows what to do. I think a lot of people know how to do it. And there's nothing you're probably going to learn, spoiler alert, from our 30 minutes together here today that you're like, wow, that's earth-shattering stuff. Mm-hmm. But where the magic comes is, are you doing it with consistency? When I say consistency, I mean years, right? Strategic, intentional focus, month after month for years. And you become so strong that you force people to recognize you, to see you, to have this top of mind awareness, this brand awareness. So when they think of your products and services, they think of you. And so, really it starts with value. It moves into the relationship. I say all the time that algorithms are weighed in ounces and relationships are weighed in pounds. And we can try to shortcut the system by using traditional marketing in a hip new way. But guess what? The corporate behemoths are already 2 steps ahead of us, right? And I'm a champion for the small business owner, by the way. So
Mhm.
so everything I'm going to talk about today is really for the little guy, the David, versus Goliath story.
Right, I
We're the
think.
David. So yeah, but really it all boils down to consistent focus on relationships.
Yeah, well, and when you look at this, it's you're talking about having a unique customer experience. Um, I can't think of an industry. Yes, I can because it's the one that I came out of, which is the recruiting industry. It's one
Yeah,
of the most competitive, especially in today's marketplace.
yeah.
And what you're trying to do is you're trying to constantly to create a unique customer experience. Um, but what I always take a devil's advocate approach on it.
Mhm.
What not devil's advocate, but the flip side of it.
Contrarian. Yeah,
Contrarian, thank
contrarian
you,
approach.
contrarian.
Yeah.
Because when you said that, it going, so what stops us? We know we're supposed to. I mean,
Hmm.
like you said, it's not magic dust we're talking about here, right? Uh, what stops the unique customer experience from being
Yeah.
provided or held?
It's a great question. And, my immediate answer is we live in this environment, this business environment where everyone's trying to do more with less people, less time, less resources. And what I'm going to talk to you about today, it takes time. I'm willing to sacrifice a higher volume of clientele to have the right clientele, but have them stick with me, build my retention, build my reputation, and build my referability to go deeper with the right people instead of trying to just increase volume and drive more numbers. And so I do believe what stops us is when, who have you ever talked to? If you ask them, are you busy, Mike? Yeah, I'm busy. I'm
Mhm.
crazy busy, right? Do you,
Yeah.
do you have enough time? No, I don't have enough time,
Yeah,
right?
it's
And
a
so
terrible
we,
way to approach somebody in today's market. It's like I'm going that we were in the South. We're taught to do that because we're
yeah,
from the South, and
yeah,
it does exactly the opposite. It positions us wrongly with the person we're
yeah.
trying to reach.
No doubt, but we all have numbers to hit,
Mhm.
and a lot of us get top down pressure, right, from above to hit certain numbers and metrics and sales volumes and calls. And unfortunately, a lot of things are being outsourced and moved to computers, and we're taking the human element out of it. And to go with your contrarian approach, because I'm a contrarian. That's why I knew that word for you, because that's the life. Everything I do, I look at it. I'm like, well, what if we did it the other way, right? And we don't always do that, but I want to think about it, contrarian, and so that's what I do. I choose to work with less people, but more of the right people, and dive deeper with them.
So you flip this thing around, doing more with less. What I'm hearing you say is do less, but do more.
Yeah. So, well, do more with less customers. So when in the corporate world, we're thinking do more with less employees, right?
Correct.
Which adds a bigger burden to
Hmm.
each employee. I'm saying, we have the right number of employees. We don't need as many customers. We just need more of the right customers.
Right. And what you're making me think about is you need the right customers, and you need to do more for them.
100%.
You need to
Yes.
slow down and spend more time with them. You need to ask them more questions. You need to have more as part of the central part of your vocabulary.
100%. Yeah. It's because here's what happens. The people, contrary to what you'll see on the mainstream media and social media, there's a lot of good people on the planet Earth. And there's a lot of people who want to help you. And there's a lot of people who just want to be seen and heard and respected and feel like they're valued. And when you do that with another human, they like you. They like you on a deeper level. And then they want to help you. And that's where that law of reciprocity comes in. And so I don't need to spend, and my teams don't need to spend a ton of time prospecting, because we're going to go deep with you, Mike. And to your point, we ask a lot of questions, right? We want to know what's important to you and why that's important to you, and who you need to connect with, and maybe we know someone who we can connect you with, and everything is just servant heart, and it's give, 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 give. And by doing so, we never have to ask for anything, because when we act that way with consistency, right? This isn't just a one-time thing, because people are in the beginning are gonna be like, "What's this?" Their BS meters
Yeah.
high. What's this guy want? Right? Why is he doing this? Why is he being so nice to me? Why is he right? But when you just do it time after time, month after month, after 6 months, 9 months, a year, Mike's like, "Oh, maybe Scott's just a good guy," right? And then all of a sudden he's talking to a buddy who needs insurance, and he's like, who I need to connect you with is my buddy Scott. Like, he's great. and
Mhm.
and so we don't need to prospect, because we have more people sending introductions, referrals our way, then frankly we can keep up with at this point. And really it's because of gosh, now 15 plus years of just consistently pouring into the right people.
Let's do this, though.
Yeah.
Let's speak to people who are maybe early in their career. Maybe they haven't been at it as long as you have, or that I have. I no longer measure my career in years. I measure in decades. Hence the gray hair. But let's say somebody is listening to us talk right now, and they're early in their career. They don't have a 15-year run.
Hmm.
How do they apply what you and I are talking about? Because they can't wait 15 years for a paycheck.
You're absolutely right. And I lived this life. When I started in insurance in '09, I started from scratch. I didn't buy an agency. I started a brand new agency. I was my very first customer, and I had no experience. And speaking of gray hair, I've got three kids. At the time, I had two who were both in diapers, and my wife's a school teacher. We had no money. So I had no experience. I had no employees. I had no money. I had, and so I said, let's start a business right after the Great Recession of '08. And so I was starting from scratch. And my best advice would be, play the long game and activate. I always mess this word up, but what is your reticular activating system? Or
It's a reticular activator. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So activate that. Be aware of it. It's that in layman's terms, when you buy the 2024 special color Yukon Denali and you think you're the only one that has it, and then all of a sudden you see four of them in a week, right? Because they've always been there, but now you see them.
Hmm.
And so you've got to train yourself to see things. So you're going to be prospecting in the traditional way. You're going to be selling in the traditional way. You're going to have to fight through some awkward introductions and meetings or whatever. But instead of looking at each sale, each transaction as an individual occurrence, look at it as, how amazing can I be to Mike? How much value can I add to Mike? Not to earn his business, but to earn the right to be introduced to two people he knows.
Hmm.
Right. And that's next level stuff. And that comes with asking more questions. That comes with delivering value. But it's no different in the beginning, other than I think in the beginning we get stuck in that transactional push, 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 numbers, numbers, numbers. Payroll has to be met. I have bills to pay, and we just want sale, 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 and we're turning and burning. But really, when you activate what you're looking for, which is beyond the transaction, how can I get myself into Mike's network, and frankly, just deliver value and start asking, right? Like, hey, Mike, my fee, to be of service to you, and my ask is that if you feel I've earned the right to meet one person that I could potentially help the same way, that's how I'm going to build this thing around great people just like you, one at a time. And so if you know someone, and you feel like I've earned, and I specifically use that word earned, I'm not entitled, I don't expect it, if I've earned the right to meet them, please make that introduction. I'd love that. And
Yeah, you're saying we talk about delivering value, especially with those of us maybe that are early in our career. Sometimes we um, fall short in our mind of what value is because we're trying to pursue the sale, to pursue the
mhm,
close. And the reality, which you're making me think about here, is that the value that I bring to you as a potential customer is what information do I have at my disposal that I can share with you that won't make me a sale, but could help you in your life and your walk and your thought process, being a mirror for you, providing information, especially if you're in a service sector place. That's to be known as a person who is a go-to person because they know things is of great importance, and I think it's of high value.
I love that you picked up on that. I'm not surprised by it, but I love that you brought it up. Because I joke that 20 something years in sales now, so 2 decades. So I guess I can measure in multiple decades as well. I say I've never sold a single thing. And if I was interviewing for a sales job, that'd probably be a terrible thing to say. But here in this way, it's true, right? And I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, I'm a helper, I'm a servant, and I open every conversation. We've met each other, 10 seconds prior, and I say, Mike, before we dive into this conversation, I just want you to know, whatever you decide at the end, I'm totally cool with. Right. If you stick with who you're currently doing business with, if you choose someone else, or if you move with here with us, right, whatever you decide, I'm cool with. My number one mission during this conversation is to make sure you understand exactly what you have, why you have it, and make the best decision for your family. I'm just here to guide you along the way. Sound good? And, we just take it right off the table. And I share with people that, I live here, I work here, I shop at the same insert local grocery store. I rather not have your business than have it the wrong way. And so these things connect you immediately with the person you're talking to. It takes their guard down. And listen, you have to be sincere about it, right? You have to speak from a position of strength where I truly mean that. Like, I rather not have the business than have it the wrong way, because my reputation is more important than my sales numbers. Right. And so, that is where we start. And so, to your point, it goes beyond the transaction and the sale. I do insurance, but look, I know realtors, I know car dealers, I know carpenters and electricians, and you name it. Right. So if anything pops up in your world, Mike, even if it's not insurance, and you need to ask a question or figure something out here locally, give me a buzz. Right. I could probably connect you to someone you need.
You know what I love? The reticular activator is something I stumbled into years back, and the concept, and that's why I go. It's that antenna that's in our brain,
Yeah.
and it's a medical term. I mean, it's not something that somebody made up one time. It's a part of our brain that helps us process those things that are of high value to us. But as you said, I started thinking about the reticular activator isn't the Yukon in my family. It was when I bought my daughter her first car, which was a Hyundai Elantra,
Mhm.
and I went to work in the sea of Hyundai Elantras after I bought the thing. I just had some massive sale this weekend, I guess, which wasn't really true. Here's the reticular activator that we need in a service-oriented business, and that's the activator that goes off of, how can I help you, whoever I'm talking to. I have to have a reticular activator going on. How can I be of help? Because here's what you're making me think about. I can tell you, and the other people have said that, say, look, I know a lot of people. If you need a carpenter, if you need this, if you need that, just let me know and I can put you in contact with it. If you want to take it to a higher level, goes back into what you were talking about as far as asking questions, building that relationship. How much more value is it to be involved with the conversations? Based on what you're talking about, I happen to know somebody who's kind of an expert in that area. Would you want me to connect the two of y'all?
Mhm.
To me, that's the heart of what you're talking about, because now I'm not telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not demonstrating my heart to serve you.
Yeah, spot on. It goes to that giver's gain mentality. If you want to gain, you have to give first. If you want referrals to be part of your arsenal, and I hope you do, relationships, you have to give a referral first. And so a lot of the questions we ask out of the gate, Mike, in your business, who's your perfect customer avatar? Who are you looking for? Right? Who do you want to be connected with? Who do just what are your goals? We ask all these questions, and the whole time I'm thinking, you know what, Judy so and so is probably someone Mike would like to talk to. Let me make an introduction here.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for
And
joining us today on Lighting the Path, Strategies for Tomorrow's Leaders. If anything in this podcast speaks to you, if I've challenged you, or if you want to spend time digging into this subject a little deeper, or if you disagree with me, reach out. My contact information is on our website, lightingthepath.net, or email me at mike@mikelejeune.com. Also, look for me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect our networks. Keep lighting the path for those who choose to follow you. It's more than a responsibility. It's an honor.